starting 4-3. I heard you, Elias.
Yeah, but your microphone wasn't very loud yesterday. I had my volume all the way up, and I could still barely hear you.
Yeah?
Either that or
It's quiet.
Turn it up more.
Yell.
Ow!
That's a little bit of it.
There you go. It's turned up. Because when it was maxed out, you get to hear the reverberations in the background when I get loud. Yeah, it buzzes a little bit when I speak. These are new notes.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
It's on the back side.
Back at it again with my Algebra 2 file.
This is, I'm not scrolled to it yet, Sione. All right. Solving linear quadratic systems. All right, guys. At the top of the page, it says, if you are given a line and a conic. Now, I said conic instead of parabola. I changed it because on your workbook questions, it actually has a few things that are not necessarily parabolas on there. It has some circles. It has a hyperbola. I think it even has an ellipse. So those are all conics, but the answers are still going to be the same with the exception of the hyperbola. You can have a different solution. Hyperbolas can have a solution of 3 and 4. But if I have a conic, how many times can a line cross a conic? We're going to talk about parabolas right now. This can't be exactly expanded to all conics. Like I said, a hyperbola can have a couple of different solutions. Let's talk about parabolas for now. So a parabola and a line, how many times could they cross? Raise your hand and tell me. Holly? They could cross twice. Sure. What do you guys want to, what kind of parabola you want? Upside down, right side up, left, right?
Left upside down.
Okay. And I'll draw a line that crosses through it twice, like Holly said. Okay. There we go. How else? How many times? I'm going to restate the question because there's another answer. How many times could once? Now, there are a couple of ways it could do it once. Okay? It could go right down the middle. It could just kind of run tangentially to it and barely touch it. Tangentially. Mm-hmm. 0. Dimitri is correct. It could hit 0 times. Okay. So keep those in mind. Seth, Diana Garcia Pineda. So, keep those in mind when you guys go to find solutions. You could have 2, 1, or 0 solutions. Now, graphically, we're not going to do until we get to a workbook. I'm going to have an example for substitution here in your notes. The workbook questions when it comes to graphically are the examples when it comes to graphically. The workbook will be good enough for examples on that because those just take some time. And that'll be enough example for you to do your homework. Any questions on this part?
There's also homework tonight? Well, you said any more questions.
So when we go to graphic, guys, make sure you get them both into standard form. If it's a parabola, you know, make it y equals plus or minus a times x minus h squared plus k, unless it's horizontal, in which case it's x equals plus or minus a times y minus k squared plus h. Or if it's a circle, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Or if it's a line, what is it? Y, give me the equation of a line. There we go. Okay. So make sure you guys don't. I'm already upset that there's a big gouge in my desk. My desks have always been nice, and that ticks me off. So.
Erase it right now.
Well, it's not just erased, it's digged in.
Someone else did that?
Oh.
It's like a big old scratch.
So, all right. So we get them into standard form. We graph them. We see where they cross. Those are the solutions. Okay. We'll do those in a bit. But if we go to solve by substitution, there are some steps that we can take. Now, these steps are not set in stone. The idea behind the steps is what's here. Most of the time, take the line that you're given, solve for a variable. If that's x or y, doesn't matter, your choice, whichever is easier. After you do that, you substitute it back into the quadratic equation, whichever one it is, if it's a parabola or a circle or whatever it might be. Substitute it in, you're now down to one variable, and that variable will be squared. So at that point, you're going to solve for that variable, be it using the quadratic formula. I assume you're not going to want to use completing the square. And then after that, you're going to take that and plug it back into the line or the quadratic to solve for the other one. Because remember, guys, where a line and a parabola cross, they cross at what? They cross at what? If they cross at x and y's. So when you do those first steps of substitution, you're only going to end up with one variable. To get a coordinate, you need both variables. So we have to find our second variable. So there are a lot of times when you're going to be working through this and you're going to think you're done. And you're not. It's not hard. We're not pulling in any new concepts in this section. The only concept is that one. Could cross twice, once, or zero. That's the only new concept. Elias, question?
When you said that you can only get the point through the x and y coordinate, is that for the substitution steps?
We need an x and y solution. So we can't say it crosses at just x equals 5. Well, 5 what? I need a coordinate. I need a coordinate. And those coordinates might not always be pretty. All right, so we have y equals 3x squared plus 21x minus 5. That's a parabola facing up. It's a parabola facing up. And then we've got a line, negative 10x plus y equals negative 1. That one, unfortunately, is not solved for a variable. So let's solve for a variable. What is going to be our easiest variable to solve for in that? Seth? I'm looking at this equation right here in case you can't see it, and I'm also giving you time to stall. So, negative 10x plus y equals negative 1. What would be the easiest variable to get on one side by itself?
10.
Is neither of those are variables, sir. Y. We can get y by itself really easy by doing what? How do we get y is on the left-hand side with the negative 10x. How do I get that negative 10x on the other side? Add it. So I've got y equals 10x minus 1. Is everybody happy with that? Cool. It is. It does happen to be in y equals mx plus b form, and if this were solved by graphing, we'd use that. Okay? But it's not. We're solving by substitution. So I've got this other equation. Y equals 3x squared plus 21x minus 5. Now that I've solved for a variable here, I can do substitution. I take 10x minus 1, and it's going to substitute into that y right there. You guys can start writing without looking at me. So now we're there after our substitution. Careful, this is going to take up a lot of room, so if you guys are writing down the middle of your page, it's going to get messy. And if you're writing in pen, it'll be even worse. And if you're writing in light blue pen and writing down the middle of your page, just drop out. Okay. Guys, this is now quadratic. Are we okay with that? How many variables are in here? 1. X. There's only one letter in this thing, man. It's X. X squared is not a different variable than X. They are different types of terms that I cannot combine them, but they are not different variables. Okay. If I want to solve a quadratic using the quadratic formula, what do I need to do? Get it to equal 0. Somebody after the first quarter brought Holly Ross to the game.
Who did it? Because I need them to do it too.
Okay. Minus 4. Minus 4. I'll have to ask my manager. Yeah. Okay. This is one of the things I love about this board, just doing stuff like that. Okay. All right, let's pick on this side. Beatrice, what's my A? 3. What's my B? What's my C? Okay. Pisha Moon. X equals. There we go. Ruggiero, 3 seconds. The answer to this is? Dang it. Oh, yeah, sure. 1/3 and 4. I solved it third period. I solved it. Yeah. And I might be wrong on the second one. One of the answers is 1/3, though, I believe. I can't hear you, Ramirez. A is the coefficient to the x squared term. B is the coefficient to the x term. C is the number by itself. Okay? And I'm probably wrong on those. I just made up numbers. Okay? So we've got x equals -11 plus or minus the square root. Now, go ahead, Alicia. 121 plus, which is 48 all over 6. I can do that one. Okay, I'm going to, Elias, 121 plus 48. 121, 169. Sione, square root of 169. Sione, square root of 169. 13. 169 is a funny number, just like P. It's a funny letter. Okay. All right. So we have our 2 x values. We need them, though. We need them. Is everybody following this so far? So we solved for a letter. We substituted into the quadratic one. We got it equal to 0. We're using the quadratic formula. We're almost done using the quadratic formula. When problems get long, I'm going to go to the left here. I'm just going to continue this way. Elias, question? Uh-huh. What was that?
Oh, damn, I said it breaks into two.
Breaks into 2. Yeah. Riley, negative 11 plus 13? 2. And what's 2 divided by 6 reduced down to? 1/3. Hey, I got 1/3 right. Okay. And negative 11 minus 13? Negative 24 over 6. Just so this, when problems get long, that's when you guys start thinking, oh, I'm done. It's not done, because what do I need? I need the y's. Thank you, Isaac. I need the y values. I only have half of my coordinates. Look, guys, this is, I've got really, like, just generally thinking about it. I've got a parabola, right? Upward facing. And I've got some line crossing through my parabola. I know that it crosses at negative 4 comma something, and I know that it crosses at 1/3 comma something. I need the something. Now I need my y values. Okay? Yeah, I need to say those things earlier than I said before, where I said you need to start up in the one side. I apologize. It's not much more. It's not much more. We can finish it. If you did 2 columns at this point, we can finish it in just a couple of lines. Right? So we pick one of our 2 formulas that we started with. Pick the line. It's usually easier. Pardon me. I hit the mic. So it's usually easier if you pick the line. So the line was negative 10x plus y equals negative 1. Let's go with the y equals, because I want what y equals. So y equals 10 times 1/3 minus 1. Y equals 10 times negative 4 minus 1.
Wait, no, wait.
I can't tell if you're trying to imitate Elvis or if you're asking a question. Because she was like, wait, no, wait. Uh-huh.
No, I don't get it.
What don't you get?
Why did we do that?
Because I need the coordinate. Remember where I put the little drawing really quick? Where I said it crosses at negative 4 comma something and 1/3 comma something? I need the y coordinate. So the y coordinate I can find by taking my x values and plugging them into the y equals. It is. I could have plugged it into either one, but I would not have wanted to solve the quadratic one. I'm pretty much done. Guys, this is, it saddens me that I have to go over this, okay? This is 10 over 1, I do. This is 10 over 1, which is going to make 10/3 when I multiply straight across. I need a common denominator, so this is going to be times 3 over 3 in order to get a common denominator. So I'm going to get 10/3 minus 3/3 is 7/3. I want to tell you guys something really quick here, why this saddens me, because this is not unique to you guys. And running with the pack can be good, can be bad. According to every musician in existence, if you're with the herd, that's bad. You should always be this super ultra unique different person, just like everybody else. However, this is a bad thing, so I don't want you to feel okay by this. So when you guys took that benchmark test, and it scores you by grade levels in different categories, okay? There's good and there's bad with what your guys' scores are. However, the majority of you scored on average, I think I told you, yeah? No. If I were to average out all the scores, you guys scored on average about somewhere between 7th and 9th grade level. Okay? So I did tell you. Okay. So when it does that, guys, it also gives you a percentile. Do you guys know how percentiles work? Yeah? Okay. So a percentile, guys, a percentile is based on the normal curve, and I'll finish this problem in just a moment, and I apologize for any random strange person watching this why I'm deviating. Hi, I'm Mr. Bates, and I deviate a lot. Anyways, when you guys have that, the majority of people fall within this center of the curve here, right? So, and these are called standard deviations. We went over it in Algebra 2 last year. Actually, so that's Algebra 2 this year. Huh, never mind. You guys wouldn't know then. Anyhow, no. So the majority of people, this is called the 50th percentile. Half the people fall below this, half the people fall above it. Right? Make sense? So if you score in the 99th percentile, that means that whether it's a good or bad thing, depending on what data you're looking at, right, the majority of people are beneath you for whatever we're talking about. So if this were cholesterol levels and I fall in the 99th percentile, that's really bad, okay, because that means I have more cholesterol than 99% of the other people on the planet. It's a comparative analysis. The percentile is a comparative analysis. However, if this were test scores and you scored in the 99th percentile, that's how the ASVAB is scored. That means you scored better than 99% of the. Now, the ASVAB only goes up to 98. You can score up to the 98th percentile, so 98% of the other people who took that version of the test is what you scored better than. So, 50th percentile. So what saddened me? Those students, so the average was, like I said, somewhere between 7 and 9. Those students who scored 8s and 9s, so you got an 8-point something, which is some of you, right? You scored in the, like, I believe 70th-ish percentile. And that's comparing you to your grade level. So I'm just going to pick on Cameron because she's got thick skin, right? So if Cameron, who's a junior, and this was the juniors that I'm looking at mainly, Cameron, who's a junior, if she scored a bunch of 7th and 8th grade levels, is what math, the test is like, Cameron's about a 7th, 8th grade math level. Great, she's better than 70% of 11th graders in the United States who took this test. That's sad. It's really sad. So.
That's pretty good.
No, I said it's not okay to look at it that way. It's a sad fact, not a happy fact, Elias.
Because those 70% of people are doing that bad. They're doing worse.
Elias, this is not a perfect analogy, but it's as if I went to fat camp, right? If I went to fat camp and I came in first place in their race, yay me? You know, it's like wow, Scott, you got a 14-minute mile. You're better than everybody else here. You're in the 99th percentile. 14 minutes in the 99th percentile, that's terrible. No, no.
I was in the 18th percentile for my height. She jacked my keychain. No, you cannot have my
Kaylee, don't jack things. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry for the long deviation. Let's go ahead and get back to this. This one, thankfully, is easier. Negative 40 minus 1 is simply negative 41. So, once again, you're not done. Because you need to actually write the answer. The answer is, it crosses at 1/3, 7/3, and negative 4, negative 41. You've got to put those coordinate answers. Okay? It's long, but none of these steps are new. Let's do a graphing problem before I call it for today. Let's open up your workbooks to number 1. So here they just got lazy and they're like, you can make your own XY coordinate. At least they're not counting by 2s. I'll go with that. Guys, what shape is this top one? What shape is it? Elias? it's a parabola. It's not facing to the right.
To the left.
It's not facing left. It's facing up. It's facing up. So we need, this is why I said it's important to get it into standard form first. Okay? It's important to get it in standard form. So if the squared is on the x, that means it's vertical, which means what should be on the left only? If you think of a vertical parabola, what's on the left? On the equation. Y equals. So let's get y equals on the left only. So what do I need to do? Add x squared is correct, Bethany? Okay, so that's a parabola shifted what? It's not upside down. It's parabola shifted down 4. We haven't seen something that easy in a while. That is a parabola shifted down 4. So let's go ahead and make our axis so we can go down 4. So I'll put my x-axis there, and I'll put my y-axis here, and I'll put the vertex of my parabola right there. Because it's down 4. So that volleyball game on Thursday has been shifted to 7 p.m. and that's when I get out of class. So
It's later now.
they ran out of referees in the area, so they're gonna have to pull a referee after a different game, after a different league tournament game, and those refs have to drive. They've got to.
If we get Ken,
Oh, that Ken! Oh my gosh!
the one that's like my height.
Hey, careful guys! I'm recording this. It could be like held for slander or libel or whatever.
Disney guy, he has a Disney pin every time he calls it, and it's like the Disneyland castle is away, not is heads. No, tails is tails, and then the Mickey Mouse head is.
Was it really important for me to know which one was which? Like in the story here? Okay, we good guys? I gave you a chance to draw that? Okay guys, so this is a standard parabola. We don't have any crazy A's going onto it, so therefore I go out 1, up,
1,
out 2, up,
2.
4. Thank you. Good job, Raymond. Okay. It's squared. Out 1, up 1, out 2, up 4, out 3, up 9. There's my parabola. I missed some. It's okay. Close enough. So my line's not in slope-intercept form. Let's get into slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. What should I do? Add 2x. So that goes through on the y. What's the y-intercept on this? -1, and the slope is 2 over 1. Oh, it goes through -1. Woo! It won't let me do it. Mama's sake. There we go. Okay. So now, guys, yeah, I didn't draw it well. It does.
All of that for that? Are you being serious?
It hits twice. Where does it hit? What coordinates? -1, -3. And then 3, 6, no, 3, 5. Those are my solutions, where they intersect. Where they intersect.
Just wait, time question.
Yeah,
Okay, so you said out 1, out 2, up 2,
up 4.
up 4. That how? You went out 1. 1 squared is 1.
Whoa, don't get mad at her, Holly.
Oh, my bad. Got it. What do you mean?
1 squared, 1. 2 squared, 4. 3 squared, 9. She's just mad because I taught it before.
So, Mr. Bates, all you had to do was just like get into something simple, draw the lines, and then figure out
Where they cross. We'll finish it tomorrow.